Hi, Half Centenarians. We are here in one of the music capitals of the United States, Austin, Texas. And guess what? We are talking to a drummer who is talking about all kinds of stuff. So we're talking about music, we're talking about acupuncture, we're talking about kids, life. It's been cool. You missed it. So check us out. And also, guess what? He won a Grammy, which really, he doesn't even really seem like it's like super significant. I don't know. It's super significant. I don't know. Let's go see. What is significant? Let's do that. Welcome, Half Centenarians. We are here in the acupuncture gym. I'm just kidding. We're not. We're here with JJ Johnson, Grammy Award winning drummer that I have the privilege of having known a couple years, right? And I am so proud of him. I'm so glad to introduce him to you all. I'm going to stop right where I am, let him kind of introduce us to himself, share a little bit about himself and kind of lay the foundation, and then we will continue our conversation from there.
Yes, as she said, I'm JJ Johnson, musician, drummer, majority of the time. Texas native, been playing music and drums for most of my life. Started around the age of 12 and
I remember.
Had the bug that just then stuck, and ever since then it's been quite an adventure of experiences, and one thing kind of leading to the next, and that journey for just being a better musician, creating good art, and finding a lot of amazing musicians and friends along the way.
Give me some examples. Like, you're a drummer, you love music, you've worked with numerous people, but talk to me about genres. Like, what genres of music most, intrigue you, or that you've worked with that you find, you know what, that's my tribe, or that's my lane, or, things like that?
It starts off, I've covered quite a wide variety of genres and styles. Initially starting out, like, I grew up in a household where there was a lot of blues and soul music and jazz music, and then even some things kind of in like what people would consider like rock and roll. My father was very pretty broad listening. That definitely is a part of my influence initially coming up, and I would definitely really R&B and soul, whatever.
That's your roots, right?
That was there, and I grew up with a lot of that, a lot of James Brown. But then as I started going through records, if I would find like stuff that I wouldn't assume that he would, but he was just really curious. Like, he always, and he had he loved music. My parents weren't musicians, but really lovers of music, so that was just around all the time. So that it really made sense with me, kind of. And then once I got I was always attracted to the idea of wanting to play music, and I think originally I was seeking to play, be a guitar player.
Guitar player, okay.
And that just, that didn't happen. That was not my first instrument. And then when I got to be, as I was meeting other peers of mine in neighborhoods growing up, I just sort of found my place, because other friends of mine were getting these instruments. And so as I'm kind of waiting around and hanging out, like watching other people play or learn songs, sitting in bedrooms, and just kind of tapping along, and it started there, because there was something that really was natural automatically.
For you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when I actually got to sit behind an instrument, drums, I was playing music, stuff that was resonating with me, and it was just, the very first time I think I went to it was over the summer, and was visiting a school that was doing like some kind of a camp, and
Music camp?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I wasn't a part of that, but for whatever reason, I ended up there, and there was a drum kit there, and I sat down, and it made sense because, there's a coordinated element that's necessary to do it, and it just happened. Like I could hear it already, and just my limbs went into place and kind of synchronized and worked. I mean, it wasn't the best sounding thing you ever heard, but
you felt.
Yeah, I lit up immediately.
The temple of my familiar, right? So what's funny about that is another half centenarian talked about being in that it just felt like that's where I belong.
Exactly.
And it was from an Alice Walker title of a book called The Temple of My Familiar. And that's what I hear when you're saying that. So it just like that's my spot. That's where I fit. That's everything goes for that. And I can honestly say I remember you walking down the halls beating on the wall. I'm like, shut up, stop doing that. And
that was a common theme, especially in classrooms too. But it's something that I was unaware of, or oblivious to.
You did it naturally.
Well, I would constantly being reprimanded, like, Mr. Johnson, would you please stop that? Like, doing what? It's like it wasn't anything I was thinking about. It was just subconsciously. Obviously, it was there, and things that were happening. That still is like I'll do things with my teeth at times, or just making, but not thinking about it. Like if I would have, as I'm consciously talking about doing it, it sounds like nonsense. But I'll catch myself at times doing that. It's just in there, and always something is taken away.
But you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
So that takes me to my next question, where what do you feel like is out of that? Because that's your place, that's your tribe, that's your vibe. How is that a part of who you are and your purpose, and where you are in your journey?
Very much so, because it's dictated so much in my life, and because of what I put into it, and because of the love and the passion that I have for it, and the drive, and also many different phases. It's when you're young, you're like everything's a bit wild, and you're just, which is great. I love that just innocent period of time where it's just just playing whatever, and with reckless abandon, and but then you start to hear the qualities in music, and the function, and the things that make it work. And so then it's kind of like, okay, well, do I have those things yet in check? And it's, so then there was that. It's like you kind of pushing yourself to be to a level of being able to play the things you hear and love, and you want to be as excellent as you can be.
So you won so many awards because of, I guess, practice. I would say that, perfecting your craft. And, I don't know, because what you're looking for and what you aspire to in that realm. Yeah. See, for me, it's probably the same idea, just a different way to look at perfecting your craft. So when you are thinking about, you're in the half centenarian realm, you're over here with us now. Welcome to the tribe. What is it that did that change you at all? Did it motivate you, or did it help you kind of mature in the way you look at what you do now?
I would definitely say yeah. And looking back at where I've been, and then now continuing to look forward, but I don't look back too often. It's sometimes it's funny because of funny stories or instances, but also looking at periods where I knew where I was as a musician, and what kind of the skill set and lessons that I hadn't learned yet, or experiences that I hadn't learned. But most of them are lessons, and they're usually deal with situations. They're situational, or just, and also being honest and real with yourself about what you're capable of, and where you want to be.
So it's we see the glory part. We don't get to see the grit, the tenacity, the time on task, all of that coming out of the studio at God knows what time. Yeah. So on that, I just want to ask you, what was it like winning a Grammy?
It was unexpected,
Okay.
but also, to a certain degree, because I mean, I have my feelings about those types of things and how people put a lot of stock in them. And but at the end of the day, I think anybody is excited to be acknowledged for their work and effort. So, I feel honored that I was a part of a collective that reached people in that way, and that a committee of people deemed it worthy of like being acknowledged to that degree.
It's something that you can add to your list of things that you've accomplished.
Absolutely.
Yes. I wanted to say too, I've watched a lot of your growth, not necessarily as a drummer. I have that too, I guess, just as a person. So, you always exude this level of confidence and surety about what you want to do, which is cool. What I want to ask you now is like, how are you, JJ Johnson, living what you feel is your truth, your best life? How is that, being exhibited in your life right now?
Aside from that, the best life is like a part of that is being a father and watching my children grow and develop into the human beings that they are. And I have my two younger daughters are young adults now, and how they're I'm really proud of how they develop and the people that they're developing and their drive and passion and what they're in their pursuit of things. And even my younger child now, he's finding his way through things, and they're all very different, very individual, but just outside the day-to-day, interactions, there's always that place of like kind of stepping back and just observing them as, with that detachment and just looking at who they are. And that's something that, I'm very honored to have been blessed to be a father and to be their father.
I wanted to ask you, as a final note, as a musician, what is something that you would kind of do as a summative statement about your life, about, where you are, thinking about everything that you've been, all the wonderful things, the accolades, all of that stuff is great. But I know you as a person at your root, you at your core, you are very humble is one thing that I would say, but you're absolutely kind of a calming spirit. So can you give us something that you would say as a takeaway for, something that guides you in your life?
I was just checking in with yourself, being a good person, paying attention to other people, being compassionate, and gratitude. Because I recognize like I'm grateful to be in this position, but there's been a lot of help from other people, and also seizing opportunities and putting in the time and the work to get to those places. But that doesn't always necessarily line up for everybody. So I've been fortunate along the way, and I'm very aware of that. That doesn't mean I've been given anything, but an opportunity to show up and make the best of it.
Right.
So.
And I would say this too, just to add that COVID, I know we talked to some other artists. COVID had a huge impact on musicians.
Absolutely. We are kind of in a community that's the first to go and the last to come back, because it's something, and that's another thing I realize that's really special about what we do, and that's a motivating factor as well. I think it kind of ties into, we're supposed to, people look for that, and I can't imagine a world without music, whether people are always or not even aware of it. So I think sometimes it's something that can be taken for granted because there's so much of it and used to having it around. To imagine a world or place without music is pretty daunting, and just that alone is there's a sense of reassuredness, and because it is necessary to have in the world, and when what it does.
We've seen what it's like without.
Absolutely, and people, it's just something you you give your life for, and that can be challenging. It has its own challenges, but that's what it takes to be able to achieve greatness.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So I wanted to end with this, just so you can kind of give us some ideas about you, the person. So I'm gonna give you two options. I want you to tell me which would you choose if given the opportunity.
Okay.
All right. So JJ, this is your Jeopardy moment right here. What is no?
No means no.
No. Email or text?
Text.
Flowers or gift card?
Flowers.
Yeah, that's true. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tequila or wine?
Tequila.
I like you. All right, breakfast or lunch?
Lunch.
Yeah, well, that's when you... Okay, flying or driving?
Driving.
Early riser, night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah. Drama or comedy?
Comedy for sure.
Blues or jazz?
It's the same thing.
Pick one.
Blues.
Married or single?
Single.
My boy. And on that note, Half Centenarians, we are so excited that we had JJ here. I know that you have gotten to see a lot about him. Even at the end, we get to know that, see, we are kindred spirits. You have no idea. You have no idea. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget that we are going to have Thursdays, a new episode. I want you to send me individuals so we can meet them as well, like we did with JJ here. We are so excited that you are joining us. Be safe, be careful, and we will see you soon. Hi guys, I hope you loved and enjoyed and liked and shared that video. So many great people that we've had the opportunity to meet. Houston, Texas, man, y'all know it's hot here. It's hot, but so are the people that we're showing you. So please like us and subscribe on YouTube. And don't forget, three names of people, it could be you, that have inspired you and motivated you, doing their best thing, living their best lives as a half centenarian. Thank you so much for following us on this journey. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, be careful, and I will see you guys soon.